So tying in the running game to Maiava's play, PFF and that Hawaii game, Caleb, only had it at 11 play action pass attempts and dropbacks with play action. Is that a good number for how good this running game has been? Should we see more play action attempts from Maiava in this offense? And even when Doug comes back, considering how good they've been running the ball?
I think it's a matter of how much you can set up. And I don't want to put a number to it as a standard of what's good or what's not. I think it's the tempo of the game. If you run the ball effectively and the team that you're playing never adjusts and never does anything to let's say, load the box against you to stop the run, then no, don't stop running the ball. Keep running it. No need for play action, right? In the case of Hawaii actually played a lot of man coverage or man-type schemes on the back end of those loaded boxes. So play action doesn't really affect man coverage. So I don't think you get the same response from the defense if you run play action, if the guys on the edge are playing man-to-man. Like, it doesn't matter to them that you fake the run. They're responsible for guarding their receiver. So I think that may have skewed the number and the relationship to the play action versus actual run plays. So who knows? If there's a team that they face that's more zone-oriented and loads the box, then I think it does behoove the Rebels to use play action more often. I don't think I would rush to judge or rush to say, yes, more play action, it's the key to get the pass game running. I don't necessarily think that's true. In this case, I don't think the sample size is big enough, and I don't think anybody's stopped the run effectively enough in recent weeks to suggest that play action needs to be used more. You're playing winning football by running for 300 yards a game. Why stop doing it? Now, at some point, you and I see, and we all know that at some point in the future, you're going to have to do something different. Somebody's going to commit to stopping it and be effective in stopping the run. What will you do then? Will it be play action pass? Will it be drop back pass? Will your quick game come to life? Things that need to be answered, and things that Jaden Maiava right now as a starting quarterback has not been forced to answer because the running game has been pretty good and pretty effective for the Rebels so far.
So let me ask you this. I wanted to flip this to the defense. One of the things that really stuck out to me when I was watching up in the press box was moving this defensive line around a bunch. And the specific formation, I even asked you about this right after the game, that really stuck out to me is when they overloaded the defensive line to one side of the center, and then they had two stand-up guys on the other side, and that seemed to create a lot of issues for Hawaii. Why does that work? Why does putting your three big guys on one side and two quick guys on the other make an offensive line work? Why did that continuously push Shager out of the pocket?
So it's funny because Vanderbilt did the same thing to UNLV on the play that Doug actually got hurt on the sack. They did the exact same scheme, dialing up the pressure. What it does, and the Dallas Cowboys have done this actually in the pros, what it does is it puts your defense or your offensive line in a bind. I always look at protection as a system of constants and variables. Down linemen are conventionally thought of as constants in the rush. If I have three down linemen on one side, I know there's three people rushing from that side. I'm going to make my protection those three guys. The extras, the variables, the two stand-up guys, those are the ones I'm not concerned with. Like the running back will pick them up. That will be, the leftovers, or I'll throw hot routes off of them. What that overloaded defensive line does is it forces your protection to focus on those three. The variables now become wasted bodies. Like, let's say the variables on the front of the line, the two stand-up guys on the left side of the offensive line for UNLV, I'm just doing it from that perspective, those guys drop out. Now, essentially, you have two offensive linemen that thought they were going to be blocking two guys, and now they're not. They're completely wasted on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, the three rushers that were the constants rush from that side, and all you have to do is add one on a delayed blitz. And now he's a free runner. You're only rushing four bodies, but the four bodies are coming from the same side. Your protection wasn't allowed to adjust. You hadn't game plan for it. So when you see it for the first time, it works, i.e. Vanderbilt having a free rusher and getting a clean shot on Doug Brumfield, i.e. the Rebels coming up with 6 sacks against Hawaii. You have to adjust to it in game. Protections conventionally aren't designed to account for those kinds of overloads, at least structurally. Once you get the film on it, once you see it enough on film, you can make some special protection to account for it. But in game, in real time, I'm telling you, the way quarterbacks make protection calls, the way linemen count the box and count the numbers up front, you just don't count it up the appropriate way when you overload one side like that.